Well, when I came home from that war, I had 3 campaign ribbons. I had 4 battle stars, and I was a first-class soldier. And like a million other African Americans that was discharged at that period of time, I had no intention of going back and becoming a second-class citizen, because the journey of the African American soldier was from second-class citizen to first-class soldier, and then the question was, were they going to again go back to become second-class citizens, or were they going to become first-class citizens? And the civil rights movement that exploded in 1945, 1946 was precisely because the refusal of the veterans to go back to where they were in 1940 or 1941 when they went in the Army. So the genesis, the foundation of the freedom movement that developed in that period of time was precisely led by the veterans, fueled by them. It was a very, very local situation, and nobody, to my knowledge, at least, has adequately chronicalized, adequately described and discussed that period of time. That the African American freedom movement is overshadowed by a few outstanding personalities. Dr. King, the Jesse Jacksons and Lowrys and so forth. And it's presented that they were the organizers and leaders of that movement. That's not at all true. The movement couldn't possibly, I mean, when we're talking about a grassroots movement of 35 million people, couldn't possibly have been organized and controlled by 2 or 3 outstanding personalities. That movement was local. It was in the main led by veterans, and the United States government finally had to give in and make compromises because there was no way for them to control that kind of a grassroots movement. And so the book was written primarily to give at least a limited view, my limited experience in the development of that movement. And that movement was, in the main, pretty much oriented around the political left in the United States.